Republicans will say, well, sure, Roy Cooper's 15-0 on elections, but he's never had a hard race. And I think a lot of people are like, and this is going to be the hard race?
And they already are kind of done with Congress. Look at any polling. It'll tell you. They're down there with,
journalists.
Sorry. Lobbyists.
All right, welcome on into another edition of Time Together with Tim Boehm. I am Tim Boehm here with producer extraordinaire John McHugh. And John, it's been busy.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's getting some curveballs here and there.
Yeah, so we had plans to. I mean, I have been so busy. I was in New York. I was in Western North Carolina. I have been all over the place, and I was trying to figure out what to book, and we had these guys coming in already this week, so we said, let's just tape a podcast. We were going to talk solely about a couple new ads in the U.S. Senate race, really the first ads, albeit they're digital. But, John, we got this little redistricting map that was thrown out. I was a little surprised, not that they got it out, because it was kind of forecasted, but it's a little different than I thought.
Yeah, I thought they would keep the impact on any of their Republican colleagues pretty minimal, but doesn't seem like great care was taken to do that. I'll give him that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Greg Murphy, I think John's referring to in the 3rd District, going to get a little impacted by that. But also all this stuff with Senator Berger, we got a lot of feedback, I think from Berger-type folks, too, about having Sam Page on. So it felt just kind of appropriate. This is really a kind of a fun, free-flowing conversation, I think, today, right?
Yeah, and it always is with them. It's always fun, always informative. Fun without being too off topic.
Yeah.
Until we get to the end.
Yeah, until we get to the end. Yeah. So we're talking about our good friends of the program, Billy and Brian. Billy Warden with RLF Communications, senior strategy guy over there. And Brian Lewis with New Frame, and, of course, the Do Politics Better podcast with Sky David, great friends of the program. They do such a great job over there as well. It is always a fun time, and we dig pretty deep here. It's going to be fascinating, so let's get right to it. We're rolling, guys.
And we're on TV, too?
Yeah. Well,
Where's the TV? I need to know where the camera is.
I know, really.
Do you act different with them on?
Yes. If I could find the camera, I'll know how to.
Yeah.
Do they got my good side?
Yeah.
Do they? Any side is good.
It takes all sides. We have 360 degrees.
So we are rewatching Arrested Development, and the Will Arnett character. It has been mentioned a few times. The guy on the Segway might be Billy.
Oh, that's right.
Do you act different with the cameras?
I love it. I know. It's same old me. Same old me.
But he might be, looking for the camera.
Brian, things are crazy right now.
Really? What's going on?
State Fair, Billie Eilish. So this is dangerous to talk about this because we're taping this on the Friday before the maps are voted on. But I mean, you talk to these people all the time. How wild is this? I mean, I think so let's just talk about redistricting for a second. Yeah. So I think people knew they were going to take some people or counties from another district. I'm not so sure people thought they were going to take Don Davis and put him in Murphy's district and then take away a bunch of Murphy's counties, the coast, essentially, from him. Yeah. Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, we had heard that Lenoir County was in play. That had been changing. But, the whole cloth swapping was a surprise. Just the gerrymandering in 2026. I mean, for our listeners, viewers, this is something that happens every 10 years, usually, unless the courts get involved. And so this is very unusual. We're now participating in national politics. We know Texas did it. California did it. I think there was a surprise about this. Senator Berger, I know less about Speaker Hall, but Senator Berger, I think, safe to say he's an institutionalist. He kind of respects the way things go. And
there's a right way to do things.
Right. And so this is unusual for him, but I think we're in unusual times. We have a president who I've heard has made calls to these folks and asked them to do this.
For an endorsement?
Well, I don't know about that. I can't speak to that, but all indications are that Senator Berger is in need of President Trump's assistance. So we're in an unusual time. The norms are being broken, and I've had some Democrats tell me, good. Mm-hmm. Because, for Democrats, they've always thought, we got to land this plane in a year that ends in zero, right? 2030, 2040, in order to get a hold of these maps. Well, precedent is being set. And this, Tim, the thing is, this is one thing politicians of all stripes fail to recognize, Roy Cooper included, when he passed the veto legislation. You never think about the day you won't be in power.
Yeah.
That will never happen. We'll always be in power.
That's why we don't have a redistricting commission.
Yeah. I had a Republican senator tell me, whatever weapon you create, know that your enemy will have that weapon.
Yeah, and they'll use the same reasoning too, right? Like they won't care. Principle won't matter at that point. It'll be, you did it, so we're going to do it right back. I mean, that's kind of what's happening with why California is doing it.
And it won't be a proportional response. It's always, we will meet what you did and go a little further.
Did Greg Murphy tick off his fellow Republicans?
I was wondering that too. He can't be happy. I saw the Hakeem Jeffries post this morning. He's the minority leader up in Congress, saying, we are fully behind Don Davis in the 3rd district. I don't know if that was an error or did someone just declare Don Davis is running in the 3rd district.
Yeah, because so he lives in the 3rd now. He was in the 1st, but you don't. For those that don't know, you don't have to live for congressional. You do for state legislative seats, but you don't have to live in that district to run.
Yeah.
So, but it's about 50-50 of which one he would run in and whether he had a better chance. Probably.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Billy?
How is this all landing with the voters, do you reckon? Is
I
it
think they're worried
all
about the state
inside
fair and
baseball?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they're paying attention.
Which is probably part of the problem, right? I also think this is, I've said this, people are tired of me hearing this is the culmination of Republicans in a lot of ways, you could argue smartly, I guess, focusing on courts and judicial races over the last 15 years and no one paying attention as to why.
Yeah.
Because they won't get overturned now, likely. I mean, I think there will be some sort of legal case over this probably for trying to get racial gerrymandering.
Yeah.
But political gerrymandering's been determined to be legal by the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yep. So here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, look for the envelope to be pushed in other ways. I mean, so let's just be clear: the General Assembly is not redrawing House or Senate maps; those are stayed. But look for something in the future. I mean, we could be gerrymandering every time there's a flip in a legislature. I mean, that could be. It's kind of the trajectory we're heading on nationally, right? I mean, Texas, California. We hear Illinois might get in the game. Maine's being pushed to do it. North Carolina's getting in it.
And the congressional seats, there's nothing in the state constitution that prevents them from doing that, where it does for state and
That's right.
Senate and House legislative districts. So, are you enjoying these times, Billy?
Oh yeah, it's intriguing. I'm baffled by it all, where it ends. Like that, I think is fun because
it's like an arms race, right?
Yeah, it's like an
race,
apocalyptic
yeah.
narrative, and yet the apocalypse never seems to come. So you keep pushing the norms, pushing the envelope, and I know that's been the Democrats' message that the end is nigh. But as you just said, maybe secretly folks are just fine with it.
But then people will wake up one day and be really mad about something that's happened in their lives and be pointing back out to where were you when this was going on 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, too. I mean, I think, look, Congress, this is my opinion. Congress is useless, right? Especially the House of Representatives. And that's whether Democrats are in control, Republicans are in control. It's a do-nothing body.
Good for a laugh.
I mean, and good for a laugh. But at some point, I think voters, and they already are kind of done with Congress. Look at any polling. It'll tell you. They're down there with,
journalists.
Sorry. Lobbyists,
womp, womp.
political consultants. Yeah, we're like the council of death right here. But they're already fed up. At some point, your question, when does it end? When do the courts finally say, you know what? Yeah, we just got to throw a flag here and go, everyone knock it off.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and this goes for even the Trump presidency. For everyone's like, well, things will, return to whatever people think normal is when he's out of office, and that's not a good or bad thing. But Democrats are going to be just as dramatic to try to swing things back the other way, I think, which will be another decade.
Yeah.
It's just a matter if the generation gets tired of it that comes up through the voting ranks.
And look, let's give some historical context. It's Democrats here in North Carolina aren't these innocent little angels that are just the victims of Republicans redrawing maps. Democrats have been playing games for decades with gerrymandering, with taking power away from the lieutenant governor that they did in the mid-'80s. I mean, we are entering, I think, fully now a time where if the thing that both sides say is, well, we can do this. And
they're brazen about it. To me, that's the difference. Like, remember when it was such a big deal when David Lewis, who was on the redistricting committees, he said, oh, if we would take another seat if we could. And everyone's like, oh! And now they're just writing press releases saying, well, President Trump wants us to do this, so we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just like not even trying to hide it.
And there's another subplot, right? So we're about to celebrate our 250th anniversary of this republic. And, the theme of our Constitution is restraint. That is the whole theme of it. It is that, look, guys, we're going to set up this system that's going to make it really difficult, and we want you to live by this. And I think we are now, 250 years later, we're like, yeah, no restraint. Let's just get in there. And because we can.
You mentioned Berger, maybe a little worried. I'm curious about what you think or hear behind the scenes. So I had Sam Page on the podcast last week, who is the sheriff from Rockingham County that has decided to primary arguably the most powerful man in North Carolina. There are TV ads airing right now in that district against Sam Page from presumably supporters of him. And his press shop or his war room, I think they're calling, is going after Page all the time. There was a poll that showed Page was ahead, and I think a lot of people thought, well, whatever. I mean, are they really concerned? This seems like they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so hard to gauge whether it's legitimate or not, right?
I listen to everything you're putting out about it. You had Sheriff Page on your podcast this past week, and I listened hoping to learn something. You asked him about the poll. I noticed he didn't answer the question about the poll exactly. You said, is the poll true? I don't know. All I know, like everyone else, you are watching and reading the room. And the room seems to be that there is some concern because of the social media posts are very heavy, aimed at Sam Page. Jim Blaine coming on your podcast, that was serious. What you see in the money being raised, and then this, I mean, I have to assume that things aren't looking great. But I also think that Senator Berger is an institution in and of himself. The Berger family is very strong in Rockingham County. I would have to think that he is in the driver's seat. And maybe they are just taking this race. They're treating it like a heart attack, which is what you tell your clients to do. Like, treat it like it's serious. So, but yeah, I'm just reading the room. And I'm seeing what you're seeing,
I thought I enjoyed the interview, and he has a folksiness. I think that's understating it. The sheriff has a folksiness that makes him really watchable. And the more people talk about it, even criticize him, the more intriguing he becomes. It's one of those political tricks of political narrative that you push against, and people start to think, well, let me take another look at that guy. I'm interested that he's provoked this reaction, and when you watch him, he is very. I'd like to see more of that.
It's like he's been. If you were going to cast a Southern sheriff, you might cast Sam Page.
And I feel for Senator Berger in the sense that being the leader of the Senate, you have to take the bullets for your caucus, right? So Senator Berger has to have the courage to say, look, we're not going to let this bill on the Senate floor today because I have to protect these members over here, the most vulnerable members. those bills might play well back in Rockingham County, but they won't play well in, say, a suburban district. And so a lot of Page's criticisms of Senator Berger are because of Senator Berger's preservation of the majority.
Yeah.
Which is basically Senator Berger's job, not his primary job. His primary job is to represent Rockingham County, but he has to balance it with also protecting his caucus. And it's being in leadership is a tough job.
So I've been thinking about this lately, especially because I did that interview, but I've also been talking to Republicans across the state, and I just wonder. So they've been in power now for 15 years in this state, and a lot of them are the same cast of characters that have been there. I mean, Speaker Moore has moved on, but he's still in there, and a lot of the kind of lieutenants are the same people. I just wonder if they're starting to get tired of each other, and things are starting to wear around the edges after this time, and people's ambitions are starting to move elsewhere, and other people are getting. I don't know. I don't know if you sense that at all. If I'm way off base here, and to me, that's not even about them. It's just natural that this starts to happen at some point. But
I can say this from being in the building: Senator Berger's staff loves him. They are working, yes, for the state, but that is a well-oiled machine over there. They are very professional. You call them, they're going to call you back. Everything is done in a really top-notch way. But I think going back to what I said earlier, I think the thing that gets fatiguing on a leader, and why leaders don't really last at the top of the hill, there's a target on your back, but you also have to do unpopular things to stay in power. It would be so easy for Senator Berger to let every gun bill go to the Senate floor, to let every abortion bill go to the Senate floor, to let every anti-immigration bill go to the Senate floor. That'd be easy. It'd also be the quickest way to hand the majority back to the Democrats.
he's also, I'm not saying this in support of him, but he's had courage to change his opinion dramatically on Medicaid expansion, marijuana in North Carolina, and you're gonna get some enemies when it comes to that.
Yes.
Fascinating. All right, so we came here. We've already spent half our time talking about things not really. We're going to talk about the Senate race and some of these ads. What do you think about where we are with the Senate race?
The state fair's in town, and there are roller coasters over there and everything. And I think that the state fair coming to Raleigh might be the most excitement we get. Like, I think people are going to be ginning up this Senate race. They're going to be putting lots of money into it because I guess that's what political people do. Media people are going to be talking about it. But based on what we've been seeing, like, I don't see this as like some sort of classic knockdown, drag out. Republicans will say, well, sure, Roy Cooper's 15-0 on elections, but he's never had a hard race. And I think a lot of people are like, and this is going to be the hard race?
So there's a little bit of feeling of it's over already?
I don't want to go that far. I'm
Okay.
just saying it's not shaping up to be the humdinger that I think the hype machine has wanted.
Well,
it
that
to
happened to me. That happened in 2022 with the Bud Beasley race. It got hyped up so much, and they were just two, no offense, boring candidates.
That
And
was a sleeper.
yeah, but it was supposed to be right. And it was very expensive. What do you think about where we are with this? I mean, it's early, obviously, but
Yeah, so I know we're going to talk about some ads today. Full disclosure, listeners, viewers, I haven't seen the ads.
these will be spontaneous reactions.
But I mention this because I haven't seen them on mass TV yet. I haven't seen.
These are digital ads.
These are
so far.
digital ads,
Yep.
so I have not seen them. How did I get out of both candidates' algorithms? I have no idea.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, whatever I'm doing. I'm not signing your petition because I'm good right now. But for me, I was paying attention to the money race, and that was no surprise, but also at the same time shocking. $14 million in one quarter for Roy Cooper. Michael Whatley comes up with 50 cents on the dollar on that. Mr. Whatley's got to catch up here. Of course, also a lot of dark money's coming into this state, so that won't be attributed to either candidate. But the money race is the money race, no surprises. But at the same time, it's looking like that team. Whatley might be that team. We're all sports fans here from the 80s. That team that makes it to the Super Bowl and just gets demolished.
Yeah, we saw that last Super Bowl. Not just from the 80s, but yeah.
I mean, it could be that. I mean, Whatley, he better start raising some money.
And he better start on the digital ads doing something more than what they've done here. You'll see. You'll
Okay.
see.
All right.
Okay.
Well, speaking of, let's
right.
get to one. So let's watch this first one here.
President Trump made Michael Whatley recovery czar for Western North Carolina back in January. Growing frustration in Western North Carolina.
For months, local residents say they haven't seen Whatley doing anything.
In recent weeks, questions have been raised about his record as recovery czar.
The state has only received about 9% of the funding needed for recovery.
It's a sentiment a lot of North Carolinians echo.
Michael Whatley is
President Trump made Michael Whatley recovery czar for Western North Carolina back in January. Growing frustration in Western North Carolina.
For months, local residents say they haven't seen Whatley doing anything.
In recent weeks, questions have been raised about his record as recovery czar.
The state has only received about 9% of the funding needed for recovery.
It's a sentiment a lot of North Carolinians echo.
Michael Whatley is failing Western North Carolina.
You going to do the next one?
Let's talk about this one for a minute.
Well, if you see, I'm just saying.
Do you want to watch them back to back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's watch
'cause
the
I
other
think
one.
it's
then.
instructive.
Billy, if you've never seen us with Billy before, Billy likes to direct the podcast himself. So let's watch the other one.
When North Carolina was devastated by natural disasters, Roy Cooper failed to show up. As governor, Cooper vetoed hurricane relief.
Governor Roy Cooper vetoing Senate Bill 382.
That's the bill that contained disaster relief for Western North Carolina,
Leaving struggling North Carolina families out to dry.
I'm not hearing the good things about the governor.
North Carolina families can't trust Roy Cooper to have their back. But Michael Whatley is helping President Trump, delivering relief for North Carolina families.
Michael Whatley is doing a great job.
Whatley is fighting alongside President Trump, slashing government red tape and securing millions in critical relief funds. Michael Whatley, the proven fighter North Carolina needs.
So basically, you're going to hate both of these candidates.
Neither of them's the one you want when the storm comes to town. So what'd you think? The head-to-head in the blame game.
It looked like the same agency made both ads. So congratulations to you. You figured it out too. Okay, ads. I think it's interesting. They're fighting on the same issue here, Western North Carolina. Also somewhat sad that both candidates are politicizing the tragedy in Western North Carolina, but that's just.
But that is a stronghold that Whatley has to overperform in Western North Carolina because it's a Republican country.
Yeah.
And so I think the Cooper camp thinks if they can pick a way there, that he'll be really in big trouble. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But
And that does he have a lot more to hang his hat on in terms of public exposure, like a public stage that he's been on? Michael Whatley, I mean, that's kind of...
No, I hear he's been
of
out there some, and I know WLS, the ABC field, really the only news station in town out there, he's done like an interview with them. He's done a ton of like Fox News and the other right-wing sort of cable networks, but he's not done... He did that one very podcast with me, like literally when he left the RNC. I got 20 minutes with him, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I could be a traditionalist here, and I tend to be, but what's missing from Whatley's is that we don't know much about him. There's been no bio of him yet. I don't know that if he's married, if he has kids. I've heard he was a lobbyist. Good for him. But I don't.
Of course, you would think that, Brian.
I'm all for some lobbyists going into. They know how to get stuff done.
Especially this one.
Especially this one. That's right.
New frame.
That's right. WW. I'm just kidding. But I believe that a candidate spends the first few ads talking about who they are and what makes them tick, then drifts into the negative. Roy Cooper has an advantage. He's been on the ballot since I was a kid, since we were all kids. Whatley, we don't know anything about. And I think before we get to the negative, we need some meat and potatoes here.
I find it interesting the one part where he said he's brought millions in. And, Stein and them are fighting. It's supposed to be billions.
Billions.
I mean, the Congress put in $10 billion. They promised $10 billion already. That's
Yeah.
not been delivered.
Yeah.
I think they said 11% of what has been promised has come to the state. So I thought that was interesting. Again, I'm not dogging Watley for that necessarily, but I just thought it was interesting that they pointed out millions when it's supposed to be billions.
Yeah, it just wasn't a big haymaker. And to everybody's point, maybe now's not the right time for haymaker. Maybe they've got all kinds of Oppo research we can only imagine and can't wait for, and that's all going to come later. But as a first out of the box, protecting a stronghold, it seemed very pro forma.
Mm-hmm.
So these are let's talk a little bit about. So you mentioned these are digital ads. Nobody's run on TV yet. I mean, we're about at a year, I guess, from when it's out. But what is the theory of like saving some for TV and doing digital? I mean, some of these are probably I don't want to offend anybody, but thrown together to just get out there because we are around the anniversary of Helene. But are these digital ads? Can they be effective or?
Yeah, sure, they can be effective. I mean, you can throw them at people all kinds of different ways.
The idea is to get people to share them, right?
Yeah. So, and then you can do some interesting testing on them. Maybe they will soon have some really different variety of ads up there. You can do some beta testing on what's working best at this early stage as they're trying to your point, like define how do we want to tell the Watley story? Because that's kind of fun for political consultants to get somebody who really doesn't have a public persona and try to figure out, well, what's going to work? And now, while people aren't paying attention very much, now's the time to sort of do some poking around.
Do you think that Watley's camp is maybe trying to start to build a narrative? Because Cooper is so well defined. I keep hearing that they're going to bring out even old stuff that people will not realize or new voters for the first time. So the word trust was in that ad. You can't trust Roy Cooper. Yeah. And I see tweets from Watley's camp about, the DNA kits for 16 years. And can that be effective? Maybe this is a building block?
It can be, but here's the mistake folks have made versus Cooper and Stein for that matter in the past. And I will just say this has been a Republican mistake. This is where they usually fall down on statewide races, is that they don't get out early enough and define Cooper, Stein, Easley, Perdue early enough. And the Morgan Jackson, who you've had on your podcast many times, his MO is to go after you early, to go ahead and define you. Because right now, let's just listeners, viewers, I don't know who Michael Watley is. It is a void, right? I don't know if he's married. I don't know if he has kids. I don't even really know where he lives. So you can fill that up with the information you have. If someone comes in and starts defining Watley to me, guess what? I now have a definition of him. That's the theory here. And so
it's like their hands are on the holster right now, right? Do you think someone pulls the gun soon?
Someone needs to.
I think someone needs to, because I also think they have a point to prove to the donors. Like for the Watley folks. And Cooper's raising a lot of money, but I think the Watley folks has something to prove, like how good they can be if they could catch up on the money race, and then you go get some more money.
They show that cash on hand. A lot of times Republicans get criticized, at least in statewide races. Hey, you've spent all your money. And the criticism, that's a one-dimensional criticism. It's like, where did you spend the money? I think if Watley was to spend money early defining Cooper, that's money well spent. Yeah. Cooper's going to spend money defining Watley, that's money well spent. But if you're saving money for yard signs next year, or,
Watley needs to be running a 2-lane track right now, right? He needs to put out a bio piece and criticize Cooper, right?
Yeah.
No, that takes money.
What I would advise Watley to do is put out your bio piece and then put out your opposition research somewhere and say, dark money, here it all is. But you start defining Cooper here. I need to talk about who I am. I've got the opposition research here. You have that at what
They
you
did
want.
test pilot, though. Not they, Watley's camp, though, about this whole first wife that Cooper had, and they comment, and that's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I think what the Cooper folks are going to get is here's the pile. It's a big pile of stuff that he's done over all these elections and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they can go through and say, well, you think you knew him as governor, but here's the real one. Here, and you think you knew him as attorney general, and here's the real one. And to Brian's point, they'll try to spin the narrative that already exists, because you can't fight that narrative of what a popular person he generally is in terms of name recognition. So you have to respin it. And then the ads might get more personal, where here's Roy looking all, handsome in color, and then, they flip it and it becomes the negative image, Yeah. And then they've got a surprise for you to learn about what you said or something else.
Yeah, COVID shutdowns, all that stuff's going to come out.
All of that's, but
Not come out, it's already been out. It's repackaging it.
But the first marriage thing did come out a little awkward. I mean, one, you can't stand beside President Trump and say you are doing his bidding when he's on wife number 3 here. That's one awkward thing. And then the other awkward thing, and this is just a fact, that 50% of North Carolinians who are married probably are on their second or third marriage. And so, you just got to be careful about how you're criticizing your opponent, because you're also criticizing the voters.
Yeah. I think they're trying to take the shine off of this Andy Griffith type persona that Roy has, while Roy is trying to have this the persona of just, oh shucks, I love the Canes, and but that's a persona that's been around for 40 plus years, and it's hard to chip away at, even though we do have millions of more people in the state literally since when he first started running for office. So
I mean, let's remember that Andy Griffith himself, Sheriff Taylor, had a background that was not Sheriff Taylor, and people don't believe it, right?
You're going to get hate mail for even bringing it up.
Hey, I love the Andy Griffith show. Love it.
It's too late. They already clipped that. They already clipped the first part of the
canceled.
Ad. The ad is out against Brian. He's a lobbyist and he hates Andy Griffith.
Nip it in the bud. We're going to nip it in the bud.
So what do you think is next? I mean, the holidays are coming up, right? It's a dead period for this kind of stuff.
Wait a minute.
What is Christmas special, man?
That's what's coming.
Preview. Tell them what we're doing.
Oh, well, 2 musical numbers.
Jeez.
Opening can Lobbyist dancers.
Can we fit an orchestra in here?
24 hours of Christmas Yuletide joy. Billy, me, and Tim.
Yeah, for listeners, we do a Christmas special every year.
Every year.
And it's all going to be in this room this time.
Yeah. And we tested with video last year, but this will be the first year that'll be all video for the podcast.
So we could put
You still looking for the cameras?
No, I said we were going to put the Santa throne and everything
Greg
in here.
We could put the fire. We got the fire in there.
The fire, and we'll get it looking like an igloo in here. Oh, it's going to be big, really big.
Huge.
But wait a minute. You skip right over what's happening soon, No King's Day.
Oh.
What are you doing for No King's Day?
Asking the wrong guy, man.
Yeah, it's so true.
That the No King's Day thing coming, I think, is what gives the Dems, though, a little bit of the win on the shutdown. I don't know how you guys feel about the shutdown, but I feel like they get that out of it. They get to activate. All those folks get to get out and get energized. That's a good thing for the Dems.
You know what's interesting, though? There always is the big question about who's to blame. And I feel like most of America is not paying attention. They're not blaming anybody and paying attention, which is not to understate how impactful it is, particularly on people that are furloughed right now. But it does feel less paid attention to right now than other shutdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you we went on the street and asked people if the federal government shut down, probably at least half of them would not know that it was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And you have to give President Trump a little credit. I mean, he has done a lot to say, look over here. Hey, look over here. Look over in the Middle East, and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, he has done a pretty good job of taking.
All right, we're almost out of time
advantage.
Here. What's in your Christmas list?
Well,
or Hanukkah or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for all the holidays, I mean, just seeing what we can do at this room, I think, has given me a new
already trying to
purpose.
remodel? It's new.
For the holidays, this is all going to have to.
the holiday
for the holidays, yeah. So I think number one thing on my list: lots of chintz, lots of kitschy decoration in here. So I can come in after hours and sort of work on the place.
You need a better Christmas list. A budget? Is that be on your Christmas list?
I would love to see a budget. I would love to see some folks getting along a little bit better. That would be nice.
So idealistic.
Yeah, I would, just little stuff like that. But a budget would be a nice start.
The fatigue's real, though, right? Like, I used to be down there every day. I'm not anymore, which it gives me some sanity. But the fatigue is real, right?
It is.
Is it harder to do your job mentally than it used to be?
It is. I mean, it is tough. It is tough. But, so I work with clients who have extraordinary needs. They are servicing this state, whether it's in education or juvenile justice or whatever the issue. And, there's a lot of folks that they need resources to do this work. And our average state employees out there, teachers out there, they businesses, they need some certainty. We need to be promoting this state for tourism. And these are things that we can't do without money. And I get it. Look, the General Assembly is facing a lot because of pressures on them from the federal government, the cuts there. So I'm not saying they're not doing their job. They are doing their job and they're being cautious. But it would be great to see our politicians at the federal level work to give our state the resources they need, or at least not make it more difficult for state leaders to do their job.
From your lips to Santa's ear, we can only hope. Yeah. And for Christmas, I like to see these campaigns. I like to see the Whatley campaign get on it a little harder, and I like to see a challenge because, Roy Cooper is really interesting, compelling character. The Democrats got their guy, but to make it a race, they're going to have to rev it up.
He's got to get that poll down to less than 4% sooner than later, probably.
He does.
Otherwise, the Republicans will start thinking about spending money elsewhere. That's the real factor.
He does run that risk, doesn't he? That happened to a few candidates in.
It happened to Beasley on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, we saw it in the last governor's race. They are going. It's just like anything. You're going to give money to hard workers and folks that have a shot. You're not going to waste money on losers.
All right.
Well, hey, what's your wish, though?
More Tim and Brian.
More press awards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just awards with my name on it.
Where do you put all those awards? Where are they?
Where's the?
They're all at home.
They in here?
They are at home.
I don't want to. I say this as I put up like 34 pictures last week of my award, but I don't want to like put them on display. Like, look at me.
You should.
I just like shows in my name, not the awards.
So Barbara Walters made replicas of all her Emmys and donated them to her alma mater.
Yeah.
I think you should make replicas. We can put them out.
Putting pressure on me to be a nice guy.
You are. Who is the nice guy in journalism?
No, I have a whole room where I sleep in, and they each have their own spotlight. And I make them talk to me about how nice it is to be there.
And you just it's a bed of money, I hear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Benjamin's. The Benjamin's bed.
Money.
You just.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It's
Do you
wonderful.
get to hang with other Edward R. Murrow Award winners?
We have a special club and a bar. It is a card that you have to open the door. It's great.
And people don't know this. Tim actually smokes cigarettes at this bar.
Yes. You can catch a whiff of it every once in a while when I walk by.
Like Edward R. Murrow.
That's right.
You get that good radio voice.
Yes. No, the truth is that I do like to look at them because it is important to remember why you do it.
Yeah.
But there's so much pressure to get the next one that in some ways you're already thinking about the next one. Yeah.
Really? Well, what's next?
I put intense pressure on myself to put out incredible stories.
You did.
And so I grovel over scripts and write. You're a writer. It is the greatest and worst thing to do in the world.
AI can help you.
So
don't you sometimes grovel? Sometimes I think I'm the best writer ever, and most of the time I think I'm the worst writer in the world. And sometimes that's all within a 5-minute period of time while I'm writing.
Maybe by the 14th draft, I think I'm a really good writer.
But that shows you right there. It shows you how difficult it's really hard.
Yeah.
When you're submitting these podcast award nominations or someone's nominating you, where do the Billy and me, where does our appearances fall in the echelon?
Thank you, Brian.
Good question. Well, let's say we did 52 in a year. Boy, that's a good question. I think it'll depend on the decor this year.
Okay.
Yeah, all right then. We got our
I want
orders.
the Christmas special.
So we got
nominated and winning.
We put them all in, and we got feedback last year, and they said it looked really great. It sounded great, but there was something missing.
Oh.
And I think it was the decor.
All right, chintz and tinsel, here we come.
They said it was the lyrics were almost there with the song. just a 15
One more draft. All right.
I mean, Greg on the...
Yeah, we got an accordion player. We need
Yeah.
something else. Something else. A flautist, perhaps.
A flautist.
Yeah, that would
what you call
gives
it?
it that touch of class.
You know, Hawaiian dancers.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, we may be the only people listening to this. Guy's going to see you.
Us and Jim Blaine.
On that note, goodbye. If you want to keep up with what's happening in North Carolina politics and hear more conversations with people shaping our state and beyond, check out the Tying It Together YouTube channel in the description. Hit subscribe and let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, elections, and issues that matter to you.